and let's celebrate. I can think of nothing better to do right this moment than sharing the joy. Let's sing. I got joy in my heart. I got joy in my heart. I got joy in my heart today. I got sweet, sweet joy. I got sweet, sweet joy that's living in my heart. I've got joy living in my heart today. Whoa, 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 yeah. I got love in my heart. I got love in my heart. I got love in my heart today. I got sweet, sweet love. I got sweet, sweet love, and it's living in my heart. I got love living in my heart today. Whoa, 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 yeah. I got light in my heart. I got light in my heart. I got light in my heart today. I got sweet, sweet light. I got sweet, sweet light, and it's living in my heart. I got light living in my heart today. Whoa, 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 yeah. I got hope in my heart. I got hope in my heart. I got hope in my heart today. I got sweet, sweet hope. I got sweet, sweet hope, and it's living in my heart. I got hope living in my heart today. Whoa, 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 yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah. I got joy in my heart. I got joy in my heart. I got joy in my heart today. I got sweet, sweet joy. I got sweet, sweet joy, and it's living in my heart. I got joy living in my heart today. Whoa, whoa. You are a work of art, a brilliant light for all to see, perfect in every part. Heaven and earth in harmony, the
Question that we were asked this past Wednesday at a beautiful. Here's the question. Please hold the question throughout today's service and take it out into the world. How do I have to change in order to be the change I'm looking for in others and in the world? How do I have to change in order to be the change? Is there anyone here today for the first time? Welcome back, everyone. Good to see you. A couple of short announcements. I'm going to refer you to all of the announcements that, of course, are always on the back of your bulletin. And of the morning. Just a reminder that our last class for Discover the Power Within occurs this coming. Last subject is the Christ consciousness in each one of us. And remember, you do not have to have been part of the entire class. Come and help us explore the Christ consciousness that all of us. And then a week from Wednesday, we are going to have some spiritual. This time, it is our honor to
Today's a really special day. This is our last time our choir is today we are singing a song you're going to help. A song called Yonder Come Day, and it is a song that was started when the African slave ships came in. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day.
Let's share our vision together, because so it is. Every life, a spiritually transformed life. One more time. Every life, a spiritually transformed life. And let us share together our affirmation of faith. There is only one presence and one power in me and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And
Good morning. Today's word is, it's Palm Sunday. I am blessed by God's ever-present goodness. As I move through my day, I celebrate God's guiding presence in my life. Set an intention to focus on dark times. The right path is God's love and light fill my heart and my soul. I thought that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and I claim only of God's peace, joy, doubt, fear, and worry. Doubt, fear, or worry are overcome by the life is blessed in countless ways. Chapter 12, verse 13, they took branches of palm trees and went.
thank you, Sandy. You can find it in your hymn booklet, number 338, or on the screen. Let's sing together, "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple."
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where you want to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. The gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
I invite you now to prepare for a time of meditation. Make yourselves as comfortable as possible. Take a deep breath and allow your attention to become centered. Bring your attention now to that time and place over 2,000 years ago. Long time to human consciousness. but merely the wink of an eye to divine consciousness. You are standing among the crowd of excited people, awaiting the arrival of the king. There in the distance, you see a figure on the back of an ass. The crowd is spreading flowers before his path, fronds of palms. Comes closer. And as he passes, catch a glimpse of his face, gaze of his eyes. You behold many things in that gaze. Wonder and awe. Peace. Love. Tinged somehow with a bit of sadness. Much later in the same day, as you're in your bed, thinking back on all that you have seen, bring your thoughts within. Remember, experience, once again, wonder, awe, power. You are renewed. Rest now for a moment. Presence is always near at hand. You need only to take a moment, silence, to find it. Let us begin now to bring our consciousness back to the here and now. We are ready. Open our eyes. Fully conscious and renewed.
Prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. My prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. my prayer too. My prayer too. Good morning and welcome to Unity on the Lakeshore on this beautiful spring morning. I'm definitely invoking it with the color I chose. It's so good to have you here today and spend this time with you. And I am grateful for all of you who contribute to our Sunday experience to be so wonderful and memorable, because you are a masterpiece. Try get that out of your head this coming week. I know Patty and I will be singing it all the time, whether we want it or not. Suzanne, thank you very much for always picking the right songs and setting the right mood. And Chris for contributing to that. And Unity, Voices of Unity, what a splendid job you're doing. And by the way, this morning, just to see how incredibly relentless Suzanne is, it took her 2 years, but finally I joined the choir. Yeah. So come join us all, and then let's make joyful noises. And I thank you, Dave, for stepping in on AV on a short notice. I appreciate that. And who were our, Carrie and Marie were our ushers today. Thank you for welcoming us. And Barbara, you always have such a strong, powerful, wonderful presence here on the platform. I thank you for that. And I enjoy your meditations, Martin. I feel ministered to in that time. In fact, it was so wonderful sitting through it, it didn't feel like I wanted to come back here and talk. And the hospitality today is provided by Marilyn and Marie, correct? So we thank you for that, and thank you for the flowers. Keep bringing them. Let's make this church filled up with lilies for next Sunday, which is Easter. And then after that, you're welcome to take them home or leave them here to beautify our sanctuary. Either way, but let's feel the platform and the church, and then I shall sneeze. The year is 1993. And I have just received a scholarship. I'm living in Transylvania, Romania. Communism ended almost 3 years ago. And I just received a scholarship to Ashland Theological Seminary, Ashland, Ohio, to complete a master's degree in counseling. And I am excited because let me tell you something, a couple of things. Number one, I am super interested in counseling. I am drawn to people all my life. Even when I was a kid, you know, adults would open up to me. I just had that presence, I guess. And I'm drawn to people, I love it, and I want to help. And I want to help myself too. So I'm excited about the study that I'm going to do. And also, ever since I've been this little, I wished myself to America, right? In fact, I always thought that God made a tremendous mistake by accidentally allowing me to be born over there when clearly I was supposed to be born here. And that was a dilemma in my mind because, of course, from what I knew, from what I heard from others, God was infallible, made no mistakes. How could this happen then? In my mind, there was no mistake. So I'm very excited. And I'm getting ready, and I purchased my plane ticket, which was $410 round-trip ticket, believe it or not. That will never happen again. And I purchased my ticket, and the time is coming closer for me to come. And remember how incredibly excited I am about it. And now it's time to pack, and I don't want to come. I'd just as soon just die. I am scared beyond belief. This is all I know. Over there, that's a totally different continent. It's a language I speak somewhat, but not well, by all means. It's a place that I have always wished myself to. I have always been watching these movies and just wanting to be there. And now the time is near, and I just want to run, hide, cease existing. So my mother comes and says, "Gee, you got to pack." And I say, "I don't think so. I don't think so." And my date of departure is August 26th. And I want time to be absolutely elastic and me pulling backwards. So August 26th never gets here, and I never get to face it. But then August 26th came, and my mother helped me pack, and then they drove me to the airport, and I got on the very first airplane of my life. It's my first flight ever. And I remember first of all, it is time now apparently to eat, which I didn't know that they were serving food on an airplane. And first they bring the kosher food, and then first they bring the vegetarian food. So some people get food, and surely, of course, surely they paid more for their ticket. They get food that we don't. And then the stewardesses, the flight attendants come and hand out these really tightly round little white towels, and they hand them to me, and it's hot, and I don't know what to do with it. And I had such low self-esteem, and I felt so insecure, and I didn't know what to do. So I'm looking at other people, and I realized, oh, you gotta clean your hands and your face. That's what this is all about. And then I get a tray of food too, and food never tasted so good, you know. Think about it, coming from communism, and then now airplane food tastes good. That tells you a lot. But the thing is, I didn't want to come. On an intuitive level, I knew that my life will never be the same again. I knew that this is a transformation that will leave nothing unchanged. It was a big thing. I did not know how it would work out. I did not know how the changes would happen. I did not know how my life would change. I just knew, beyond the shadow of the doubt, that nothing shall be the same again. So in came that inertia, that resistance. I want it, but I really don't. Because it's so hard to break with the familiar, whether we like it or not. The familiar may not be good, but at least we know how to cope with it, right? So we stay in relationships that no longer serve us. We stay in jobs that no longer serve us. Not because we like it, but because we can't quite picture what's beyond the transformation. What's beyond once I transcended this situation. And I may or may not be able to cope with that, I don't know. But I know that with this, I can cope on some level, and I guess I know the struggle. I'm familiar with it. I guess I'll just stick with it. And that is one way to live life. That is, what a way to live life, right? And haven't we all done it at some point in time, some way or the other? And aren't we still doing it? So this is Palm Sunday. And this is the time when Jesus is walking into Jerusalem. And Jerusalem has a very special meaning for the Jews. There was a time before King David was crowned, that the Jews, there were two Jewish states, the northern state and the southern state. And now David is being inaugurated as a king in Hebron, and this is about 20 miles from Jerusalem. And at this point in time, Jerusalem is belongs to the Canaanites. To the Canaanites. Belongs to the Canaanites. It's not a Jewish city at all. But think about it. Jerusalem is built on a hill. And there's valleys, it's surrounded by valleys, and that's what the Jews look up to. They live in the valley, and up there there's this fantastic city. and it's beautiful. And when the sun comes down on Jerusalem, it's as if heaven and earth merged together in this beautiful golden light. So they call it the Golden City. Later they call it the Holy City. They desire the city. It's also a city that is invincible. It's a fortress. And it can sustain a siege for over 2 years even. No one has ever conquered Jerusalem. David is inaugurated as king, and he sets his eyes on Jerusalem. He wants to do the never done before. So he goes and conquers Jerusalem. He accomplishes that which has never been done before, and he does it by sneaking in through the water channels. You know, they had the water system. So he sneaks in with his army, and they take Jerusalem from within. They figure out a way. And now Jerusalem is a Jewish city. And David makes sure that he's inaugurated one more time as king, this time in Jerusalem, because he knows that this is such a powerful and significant political achievement, and because political and religious in the Jewish history and life experience are so one, he knows that he will be able to unite the southern and the northern kingdoms. And he does. For the first time, he does. And so Jerusalem has this incredible meaning. Whenever Jesus does something significant, he's always on his way to Jerusalem, or he does it in Jerusalem. It doesn't mean that it happened there. But remember, because of the Jewish midrash tradition of telling the story, you always have to relate it to something significant to make sure your audience understands that what I'm telling you now, this is important. Pay attention. So Jesus is going again to Jerusalem. This is the last time he will be going there. It signifies that this is an important moment, event in the life of Jesus. Something big is about to happen. Big transition. Just like me getting on the airplane. And not to say that I'm likening myself to Jesus, but let me tell you something. You see how quick I was to say, not to say that I am likening myself to Jesus. We've done a couple of things throughout history. It was in the women's movement, I believe, I read it somewhere sometime, it was said that, and I can't quote word by word, but this is the gist of it, that a pedestal is just as small and suffocating as the smallest prison cell. A pedestal can be just as suffocating and limiting as the smallest prison cell. And that's what we've done with Jesus. We placed him on this pedestal. We denied him his humanity, and in return, we denied our own divinity. And with that, we've created a distance that can never be closed unless you change the way you think. And if you don't change the way you think, and you live with that distance, you're doomed for mediocrity. You're doomed for a sense of that smallness. Who am I to be compared to Jesus? How can my journey of transformation and transcendence be compared to Jesus? Well, it can. Because we have changed our ways of thinking. And because we are reclaiming Jesus' humanity and our own divinity. We are closing that gap. So therefore, the transformation that Jesus made possible for us becomes available to us as well. Does that make any sense? This is a big event. He's going to Jerusalem, and he knows, even if on an intuitive level, that nothing will be the same again. The transformation here will be so significant. And in fact, it was. It was so significant that it had completely changed the Western culture. Even today. The Western civilization hasn't had any influence as strong as Christianity. Western civilization has been greatly shaped by Christianity. So he's going to Jerusalem. He knows that nothing will be the same. And the people are standing on the side of the road. He gets a donkey, and he's sitting on the back of this donkey. And the people come, and depending on which gospel account you read, of course, you know they're all different. They lay their clothes in front of him, or they lay palm trees or flowers. And let's say palm trees or palm leaves. And they lay it in front of him, and then they shout out, "Hosanna, Hosanna to the King. He will restore the kingdom of David." One of the reasons transformation is so difficult, because on one level, it is intuited by us. You see, we have an intuition. We have a feeling that this is right for me. But then there is society around us who's bound to misunderstand us. The Jews are expecting Jesus to restore the kingdom of David. That's the one that they want to be as powerful as they were once. They want to be free as they were once. They want to be respected as they want to be the great nation as they were once. So naturally, Jesus comes and they throw all these expectations on him. That's what this guy is going to deliver. Well, his mission is very different. His mission is not at all about the out. His is the in. His mission is all about the within, not so much the without. So you see, you realize that something is yours to do. Maybe change your career. Maybe call that counselor. Maybe start working on that relationship. Perhaps go back to school. Big decisions. Perhaps move to a different state, move a different country. You know it because you know what? You're sitting there right now relating it to yourself. So that thing that you are relating to yourself right now, that's a big thing. And it takes a lot of courage and determination. And it sure would be nice if somebody came along and said, "Honey, that's the right thing to do. Honey, I know that you got it within you, and you're gonna make it. And you're gonna pass this with flying colors." Chances are, people are saying, "Are you crazy? Do you realize how hard it is to get a job nowadays, and you want to quit this one? Do you realize how hard it is to make it in the world, and you want to move away from your family? Do you realize how, and you still wanna?" There's a good chance that you hear a lot of that. There's a good chance that you sense that there's so many expectations upon you from the outside that you neither want to live up to, and because you don't want to, you surely can't. It's not yours to do. But because chances are that we might struggle with a sense of low self-esteem and insecurity, we end up being affected and impacted by the voices surrounding us, by the energy that might not be carrying us, that would assure us of a successful transition, transformation, transcendence. So there's that in Jesus' life, that he is expected to be this savior who restores the country, when in fact he knows his mission is so different. And then, the other reason it's also hard for us to do, to make a change, to make a transition, is because what I have mentioned before. that we have denied Jesus' humanity, and we have in return also denied our own divinity. So we can't. Jesus might be able to transcend. He might be able to transform, and he might be able and courageous enough to show up for his mission for that which is his to do. But how can I? Who am I? I remember this so well, and you need to understand that people have the reasons why they say what they say. And undoubtedly, we end up internalizing those reasons, rightly or wrongly. I remember when I was a kid, my dad was a very frugal man. Very frugal man. He wanted to keep every penny he ever made. And so I didn't have pants. I needed a pair of pants. And there we are at home talking that I really need a pair of pants. And my dad looks at me and says, "You. Who are you to think that you just can have a new pair of pants?" And the reason he said that, I know why he said that. He didn't want to spend the money. I know that very clearly today. But when I was that little, how did I internalize it? I was worthless. I can't wish for a pair of pants, and if I do, surely I won't be able to get it because I am worthless. So then you keep receiving messages like such throughout the years. How do you end up growing up? Will you have a strong self-esteem? Will you have a strong sense of worth? And then you go to church, and you're told that you're this terrible, hopeless sinner who is expected to be emulated, to be just like Jesus, who, by the way, is divine, and you're nothing but the sinner. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy making. It's crazy making. And then do we transform? Do we transcend? We don't. We stay small, mediocre, and sometimes maybe we make a little bit of change, shivering and being completely scared, how is that going to play out? But we end up playing it small. And honey, let me tell you something. Your dream is good. Honey, tell you something. You can. It's in you. Whatever is yours to do, in you. And the universe will come and conspire on your behalf and carry you through it. When you're insecure, when you're scared and discouraged. And you will find your way through this. And your life will be transformed forever. And you will have known that this that you just did made a difference for all of us. That you are setting an example for all of us. Just like Jesus dared back then, you dare it now and here. Honey, you can do it. You are it. You are human, you are divine, and you can do it.
All share that together. We can do it. Once again, we can do it. Thank you, Reverend G. Time. Let's share our love through me.
blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all